The Preserver's scout ship emerged from hyperspace at the edge of Sol system, exactly on schedule. Every 500,000 years, they returned to check on their various experimental worlds, planets where they'd seeded life to observe evolution's different paths. Earth Catalog Number 7 Lambda, Navigator Vel announced. Last visit, primitive hominids showing tool use potential. Marked for slow development. Estimated current progress. Basic agriculture, perhaps crude settlements. Commander ZYX pulled up their last recordings. Hairy bipeds barely managing fire, cowering from predators, dying from simple infections. Prepare landing protocols. We'll collect samples and... Commander, Vel's voice cracked. You need to see this. The screen's filled with impossible data. Artificial satellites, thousands of them. Electromagnetic radiation on every spectrum. A space station. Ships launching from the surface. Nuclear signatures. Cities visible from orbit, sprawling across continents like luminescent infections. Scanner malfunction, ZYX stated. Run diagnostics. I did. 3 times. Vel's tendrils were pale. They went from stone tools to spaceflight in 500,000 years. Impossible. The Vort hack took 12 million years. The Enlightened Collective took 8 million. Even we required 6 million years. Science Officer Cree floated over. Scanning their information networks by the void. Commander, they achieved powered flight only 120 of their years ago. They reached their moon 50 years after that. From first flight to space in 70 years. ZYX's optical organs dilated in shock. It gets worse. They split the atom before they invented computers. They developed weapons that could end their civilization, then pointed them at each other. Cadet Rodriguez, sit down. Thrax commanded. That's a killing machine. But sir, look, he's doing the slow blink. Emma was already moving toward the cage. That's universal cat language for I love you. See, she slow blinked at the Ravager. The Ravager, confused, slow blinked back. He likes me. Emma reached the cage. The other cadets pressed against the far wall. Can I pet him? Absolutely not. But Emma had already stuck her hand through the bars. The Ravager sniffed it, its poisoned tail stopping mid-lash. Emma scratched behind what she assumed were its ears. The Ravager made a sound no one had ever heard before, somewhere between a purr and a diesel engine. Cadets, observe, Thrax said desperately, trying to salvage his lesson. The human is demonstrating dangerous overconfidence. Emma had opened the cage. Rodriguez, the Ravager, 600 pounds of apex predator, stepped out. It looked at the terrified cadets, then at Emma, who was making PSPSPSPS sounds. It walked over to her, circled twice, and flopped down at her feet. Such a good boy. Emma sat cross-legged and began rubbing its belly. The Ravager's leg kicked involuntarily. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. This is impossible, Thrax muttered. Ravagers don't have pack instincts. They eat their own young. Well, maybe they just never met someone who wasn't afraid of them, Emma said, now braiding decorative bows into the Ravager's fur with hair ties from her pocket. Fear makes animals aggressive. But look, she held up her notebook. He's purring at 28 hertz. That's the same frequency as Earth cats. It promotes bone healing and reduces stress. The Ravager had rolled onto its back, all 6 paws in the air, tongue lolling out. Commander, the Altarian cadet said analytically, I believe we're witnessing pack bonding behavior. The human is domesticating. Emma had taught the Ravager to play fetch with someone's dropped stylus. It brought it back, tail wagging, which was concerning given the poisoned spines. Within 20 minutes, the Ravager was wearing Emma's spare uniform jacket like a blanket, curled up beside her chair, snoring loudly while she took notes on Thrax's increasingly desperate attempts to continue the fear training lesson. As you can see, Thrax said weakly, fear is subjective and cultural, and the Ravager sleep barked, its paws twitching as it chased something in its dreams. Emma absently petted it. Sir, Emma raised her hand. Can I keep him? My roommate moved out, so I have extra space. Absolutely not. That's a dangerous. The Ravager had grabbed Emma's arm gently in its mouth. the way Earth dogs do when they want attention. She scratched its chin and went back to sleep. Thrax looked at his curriculum, then at the Ravager wearing hair bows and drooling on Emma's boots. "Class dismissed," he said in defeat. "Except you, Rodriguez. We need to discuss why you have adoption papers already filled out in your bag." Emma grinned. "I'm always prepared for new friends, sir." The Ravager snored louder, somehow managing to take up even more space despite being curled in a ball. Thrax made a note. "Next year, no Earth animals or humans in fear training."